I understand why a man's private parts are banned, say from television. But why a woman's?
Tommy Boyds and Allison Ferns on BBC Southern Counties Radio.
Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
Don't know what to say after listening to that.
What can you say? We won't say anything. Let's be professional about this.
Just as well, new listeners might not realise that man doesn't broadcast from within the BBC studios.
No.
He broadcasts from his own studio at home, where he's comfortable making those kind of personal remarks, and I certainly won't sink so low.
Exactly.
And nor will you.
No, I won't. Not worth it.
I'm unhappy about one or two listeners who are prepared to go along with that kind of what I consider to be thoroughly unprofessional. Well, I mean, you know, thoroughly unsportsmanlike behaviour, but there's an ounce of queer as folk, is what I say.
There's a few rude people out there.
Aren't there? Still, onwards and upwards.
Yes.
One of the things I thought we might talk about this evening is, we could talk about, a little bit about seasonally affected disorder, because quite a few people do find that as soon as the sun comes out, then suddenly the world seems a bit more all right again.
Well, just looking around today, people just seem happier. They look happier. They're smiling.
I looked out of the attic window this afternoon and I saw a chap strolling down past our house, and he wasn't wearing a shirt.
Oh.
And no, he was all right. He was quite fit.
I still don't like it. I have a bit of a thing about that. I don't know why men feel the need. Keep your top on. No, really, I'm serious. I really don't like it.
Because they want to get the sun on their back.
Yeah, but
They're not asking
if
you
you're on the beach, fair enough. Take your top off. No, I'm serious. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to see them walking down the street with their top off. I just don't want to see it.
OK, let's see who's on line 6. Hello, line 6.
Hello, Tommy. It's Bill from Hove.
Hello, Bill.
Hiya. I am very, very disgusted. Not with you, my friend, but with the one before you. I won't even mention his name because it's not worth it.
Dreadful man.
Have you heard him?
I try not to listen.
Tommy, seriously, mate, you want to be careful.
Why?
He was saying about, someone, a friend that can fiddle about with car brakes, and you might find your car being going over a beachy head.
Oh, I heard that. I did
Tommy,
hear that,
you want to be careful.
Yeah, I don't think he meant it, Tommy.
No, I don't know about him.
Oh, I don't know, Bill.
That is a threat.
What did he say? What did he say, Bill?
He said that he knows somebody that can fiddle with car brakes, and you might find your car going over a beachy head.
I mean...
You can check the recordings if you don't blame me, Tommy.
I will look into that, Bill. Thank you for letting me know.
Tommy, I'm disgusted with him. And there was a poor handicapped lad coming, and he had a right go at him.
He didn't?
Yes. I want him off the air, Tommy. I really do. What can I do?
Bill, I shall note your complaint.
I want him off the air.
I shall put your complaint forward.
You're very kind, Bill, and I appreciate your concern for me, and I will check my car brakes.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you for that. Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
Bill. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, God bless.
Nice man.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about that, though.
I'm not going to.
No. I don't think he meant it. It was just Bob.
If he's hard enough, he knows where I am.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to come to that, though, is it?
Yeah. And well, I'd like him to give it a go. I've got one ethic, and I've never hit anybody smaller than myself, and Bob is considerably bigger than me, isn't he?
He is that,
Have you seen his picture on the website?
I have seen.
Have you seen his picture on the Bob Staunton Shrine, or whatever it's called? Oh, Ultimate Bob Staunton site. His website. I mean, the state of him. I'd have him. I heard he got in a fight with Pete Murray years ago. You probably don't know who Pete Murray is.
Name rings a bell.
Yeah. I heard that at a disc jockey's do, because he used to be on the sort of swing jock list on Radio 1 in the early days, he got in a fight with Pete Murray. And Pete Murray is a tiny, lovely guy, wouldn't say boo to a goose. And Bob Staunton, he's 18 stone, had too much to drink, and laid out Pete Murray.
Dear. So he's got a bit of a history of it.
Yeah. Somebody's emailed, Doctor Who is fantastic.
Not as good as Midsummer Murders, though. That has to be the best quote of the night so far.
Yes, that's what this text says. Doctor Who is fantastic. It's exciting, unlike Midsummer Murders. What is Midsummer Murders?
It's awful. I think it's got that guy who used to be in Bergerac in it.
Oh, yeah. It was on today, wasn't it?
Hello, Tommy. It's Bill again. I've cooled down a bit now. It's good to actually see that Doctor Who's coming back, but what I'd like to see come back is the old Star Trek with Dr. Spock and people.
Well, that's Mr. Spock. Dr. Spock is a paediatrics.
Yeah, but with all the old people, the first Star Treks, I'd like to see them come back.
Yes, I know what you mean, the original. But most of them are very podgy and bewigged now, and it would look wrong. It would look odd.
We don't need that back on our screen.
Crumbly's in space.
Yeah,
No.
so I'm sorry I sounded off earlier, but he really got on my back.
Yeah, we could tell.
Yeah, but if anything happened to Tommy now, he'd be liable.
He would, but I really wouldn't take it.
Try not to worry too
wouldn't
much.
take it too seriously.
Yeah. Nobody's going to murder me.
No.
No.
Well, he better not murder him.
He's all the way down in Shrewsbury.
You shouldn't say
anyway.
things like that, because supposing I do get murdered, right, and then Bob winds up
Yeah,
in a
so
ditch.
if anything happened to you, he'd be liable for that, wouldn't he?
The police would really find this an easy case to close, wouldn't they?
I don't know, because I'm always with my wife, so they'd find it difficult to prove that I wasn't anywhere different.
Right, you've got your alibi worked out even before you've worked out your crime.
Yeah.
That is paranoia, mate. Have you ever read any Kafka?
Any what?
Exactly. Thank you for your call. You'll be pleased to know that the ever-lovely Diane Pearce has emailed.
Oh, yeah.
This is a lady who broke the law last week with an email that she sent us.
She did.
So I'm looking forward to finding out what she's got a bee in her bonnet about this evening. 08459 570057. I think Diane Pearce, I'll quickly read
Yeah, I
out
want to
her
find out
email.
what she's got to say.
I've got this, though, from somebody who hasn't signed themselves in on the email. It says, you guys are all right. Allison said at the beginning of the show she doesn't like guys walking with their tops off. I wanted to ask her, what if the guy with the top off has a six-pack? Would she mind the top off?
Still don't like it, really. Doesn't really matter to me whether they've got a beer belly or a six-pack. Just keep your shirt on.
I heard that he said you were taking over an hour earlier next week about...
Yeah. I've been asked to do but Dr. Allison and I have been asked to do a Doctor Who special, particularly because we're building a big audience in America, and the BBC is very keen to promote Doctor Who in America, so they've asked us to do a phone-in show, 9 o'clock next Saturday, you see, Doctor Who airs, the new series airs next Saturday.
I'm really looking forward to it, Tommy.
Yeah.
I remember, I've seen the trailers for the new one, right? But I remember Dr. Boyd, Doctor Who when it first came out. Dr. Boyd,
Got
sorry.
a ring to it.
Yeah. So Diane Pearce has emailed.
Yeah.
Tommy, what Bob Staunton said about the brakes was beyond reason. Last week I was given a warning for giving an opinion, but Bob has said something completely illegal. I'm outraged. The BBC radio producer should be firing him and getting him up against broadcasting standards. It's disgusting. Yeah, the guy who hosts the previous show threatened to cut my car brakes, and apparently he meant it. I didn't hear it.
He's caused a bit of a stink. Hello?
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 Yeah, it's John.
Hello, John.
John from Eastbourne.
Hiya.
Can I speak to Tommy, please?
You can.
Yeah, go on.
Hello, Tommy.
Yeah.
I think that chap on before you was disgusting. Bob Staunton. He was running you down, and he happened to run down Allison Ferns as well.
Well, I won't have that.
Well, that's what he did.
Well, I won't have
because
that.
a lady called in before me, and she said, I'd sooner have Tommy Boyds, I said, I have Tommy and Allison Ferns on. I said, that pair of prats, he ran you down.
I'm grateful for your support. Don't get yourself het up.
No.
I won't.
Take it easy. Go and get a breath of fresh air, because it's still a lovely evening.
I know,
and come back, and no doubt listening to Allison and Tommy will just calm you down.
Yeah.
It's a funny phrase, isn't it, getting het up?
There's a lot of people getting head up. I really wouldn't take Bob
No.
too seriously. Bob says a lot of things.
Yes. Yes.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, hi, it's Ian, the taxi driver again.
Hello, Ian.
Just one quick question. I mean, I'll probably bark at the wrong tree, but I don't think I am. That guy Bill, the one that was getting really wound up about the comments of about 5 to 10,
Yeah.
Yeah.
would I be stupid in saying that that's not actually Bob Staunton speaking?
What?
Well, it sounds like Tommy putting a voice on.
Yeah, you're not the first.
I've spoken to about 5 different people, and they all agree.
You're not the first person to say that, which it tickles me. But I don't think you'd get away with something like that in radio, would you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if that is his real voice, then he needs to see a doctor.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of gravelly voiced
It doesn't sound gravelly. It sounds like it's put on with a posh accent at the same time.
ex-DJs. Well, I'll happily pass on your suggestion that he sounds put on. I find it hard to believe he's real, but a lot of people are getting very upset about him, and it has to be said, Ian, an awful lot of people think he's great.
Yeah,
which I find interesting.
Well, I only listened to it at 10:02, just in time to get on to you. So
Right.
I don't listen to it before then, so I wouldn't really know what his voice sounded like.
Well,
It sounds so similar to yours.
You'll be all right next Saturday, because Alison and myself start at 9 o'clock on with a special thing on Doctor Who. I'm listening with dismay. By constantly griping at your colleague Bob Staunton, you are really lowering the tone on Southern Counties Radio. He has made an effort to lower the costs of his show by outsourcing, and you sit there on your high horse in the studio with a host of staff. Lay off them.
Where are this host of staff? I suppose that's me.
He adds, lay off the man and stop calling him. He has been presenting longer than you, or you'll probably be sacked for the 28th time. Thanks for that, Mike. Very much indeed.
Yes?
And I don't know what to make of this email that's just come in, Kirsten. I don't know whether you'd like to respond to it. Shall I read it to you?
Yes, okay then.
Okay, Marty has emailed, I am amazed to hear that you agree with euthanasia. Both you and Allison speak as though this is the answer to the shortage of Wheels on Meals staff in and around Worthing. I find your comments sick and you should issue an immediate apology.
What? What are you listening to, mate? What? We haven't said anything about euthanasia.
I can't comment on that because I haven't heard your comments about Meals on Wheels.
Well, that makes three of us.
Yes, it does.
We haven't made any
I'm not
comments.
going to get roped into that.
No. Very wise, Kirsten.
All right, very wise, Kirsten.
Take care.
Thank you.
But I will think of you being roped in. It's a
I
great,
will enjoy
wonderful
listening
thought.
now.
Thank you for your call.
Take care.
Do.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm very, very confused
I'll read it
about
out.
this email.
From Marty. I'm amazed to hear you agree with euthanasia. Both you and Allison speak as though this is the answer to the shortage of Meals on Wheels staff in and around Worthing. I find your comments sick and you should issue an immediate apology.
Well, I don't know what to say, Marty.
I think it's a vaguely sort of, it's quite a cute wind-up, isn't it? Paul has emailed saying that's not my real name. I'm writing about the gay guy who texted last week and said that the church had told him that they could fix his sexuality.
Yeah.
And then there was the 13-year-old who said he was having trouble too. Did you hear back from them to know if they're okay now? I'm gay too, and I had trouble in the past from the chapel I belonged to when it became public knowledge. My solution was to disown them, but still carry on with my faith. Yeah, good for you, Paul. Good for you for remembering those folk who shared a problem last week and who I think benefited just from having their problem shared and aired.
I think so.
Shared and aired. Sounds like a feature, doesn't it? Tonight on Shared and Aired. Okay, shall we try one?
Okay, ready? You ready with your horn?
Yeah.
You ready, Chris?
I'm ready.
I'm going to start the bed first. Come in over my bed whenever you feel right, okay?
Right.
Don't say things.
Shouldn't have said that. Right. I'll talk over your bed. It'll be fast watershed, isn't it? Oh, dear.
Chris.
Oh, we can do.
Oh, okay.
Happy Christmas. Is there someone there on line 3?
There most certainly is.
Hello there.
I've got tears coming out of my eyes. But I wanted to know is my suspension up now?
No. Sorry, mate. Still suspended. You know who that was, don't you?
I didn't hear. Was it Alan?
You got it.
Yeah.
Pretty well. Scott has emailed from London. The other week, Ian Lee on a certain London radio station described you as a legend. Scott says, that's always nice to hear. Always nice to hear. The man who says that we were talking about euthanasia and Meals on Wheels has emailed again to say, so now you try to back down from your euthanasia comments by attempting to get a Swedish-speaking listener to get you out of trouble. You are a very sad individual, and I know your shows are recorded, so when I complain to Broadcasting Standards people, you will be shown up as both a liar and a condoner of murder. My mother, who is 87, listens to your show and is very upset by your ridiculous, heartless comments. If you are the big man you say you are, you will apologise now, Marty. And what's a boy to do?
I don't know.
Amphu has emailed. So now try to back... It's Marty again.
Oh, no.
Oh, he sent this one again. Hold on. 08459570057. Amphu Kanand has said, do I send you my number for the Doctor Who show to save call costs? I've been a fan since Tom Baker. Yes, Amphu, if you want to book a call on the Doctor Who special next Saturday night at 9 o'clock, if you email or text your telephone number now, right, then we'll try and put you on our list.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's the point. If it's all right for men to show their nipples, which are exactly the same as the females' nipples, why is it illegal for women to show their nipples?
I mean, if I was to walk down the street with my top off, they'd be outraged.
Ludicrous. That is... You stop and think for a moment about one of the most silly things there is in law. That a male nipple is fine.
But a female one's not.
Boxers walk around with their nipples hanging out. Wrestlers.
We
swimmers.
sexualise women's breasts, though, don't we? Do you not agree?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think you'll find that what men find attractive about the bosom area is the cleavage.
Yeah.
Not so much the nipple. Although if you can see the nipple, then you can see all of the cleavage area, and some men do find that erotic. But it just doesn't. It strikes me as being singularly unfair, and actually bordering on ridiculous, that men are allowed to show this piece of their anatomy, and nobody says, "Oh my God, you're showing your nipples." I mean, there was that poor girl on the Eurovision Song Contest. A nipple popped out when she was doing her reprise,
yeah.
And the BBC had 30 complaints. Several of which were, why was only one on the show? But easy joke. But not a very good one. But why? It's such a silly point of law, isn't it?
It is.
We can show our nipples. Look, I'm now showing Allison.
Oh, don't.
That what I did is lawful. I just lifted my top up.
Yes,
So
I'm not going to do it.
Exactly. You
Yes.
couldn't. I could prosecute you if you did it. I could prosecute you if you did what I just did there, like that.
Yeah,
Isn't that ridiculous?
That is ridiculous. Yeah.
To be frightened. But what you need is what I think most blokes do, which is you need a bring it on attitude. You know, when the Grim Reaper comes for me, I'm going to say to him, call that a scythe?
That's the man thing to do.
That's how you deal with those fears that you can get.
Yeah. Oh, you know that matey Bob, what he was saying earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe some of the listeners, they've been getting, like, all crazy about that, and like he blatantly was only just joking around, wasn't he?
I think so.
What is the deal with like some of those listeners?
What is the deal with some of those listeners? Now, if I had £1 for every time I thought that myself.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for your call, and just remember that if Allison ever sees you with your top off, she will think of a urinating dog.
Yeah, well, she sounds quite nice, though.
She's very tasty, actually. Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, send her your photograph.
How many emails do you get in a week that aren't for you? Hundreds.
Here, hundreds. I get everybody's emails. And unfortunately I also get Diane Pearce's.
Has she emailed again?
Yeah. I'm not a prude, she says, but if you make it legal for ladies to be topless, you would have another set of laws for what men do when the ladies are without their tops. Perverts are everywhere. Grow up. Grow up. Perverts are not everywhere, Diane. You know, speaking of that, though, 10% of the population are gay.
Yes.
They say, don't they?
Yeah.
Is that evenly distributed?
I don't know, no clue.
I mean, not in Brighton, obviously.
No.
But that's choice. People choose to live in Brighton because they're attracted by the gay lifestyle that Brighton is famous for. But, are 10% of the men in Aberdeen gay? Just like 10% of the men in West London are gay? Or are there areas where there's a higher proportion of the population who are gay, naturally, than others?
I would think so, yeah.
And is that just a random thing? Is that just... why? Is that just God? Because normally, with numbers and with figures and chance, you do get anomalies. Sometimes you can toss a coin and it will come down 6 times, 10 times heads over and over, which is an anomaly because it ought to come heads, then tails, then heads, then tails.
Yeah, it's just random.
You get, but random provides anomalies. So is there a town in Britain where there isn't a single gay man? Is there a village in Britain where 90% of the men are gay? For whatever reason. Anomaly.
Probably.
Or is that 10% thing across the board?
No, I don't think it's across the board. I don't know.
No one knows.
I have thought so.
No one knows. It just came into my head from what you said, that was all.
What did I say that made you think of that?
I don't remember.
No.
I'm having lots of mini-senior moments.
You are. I don't know what I said that made you think about that.
Senior citizen goes into a nightclub and says, do I come here often? Isn't that good?
That's your second cat joke of the night. You're doing well.
Oh, I've got loads. Because it's worth thinking about. Supposing aliens landed and they said that we're going to kill everybody who won't have a homosexual experience within 48 hours, you'd have to go to bed with somebody, otherwise you would be horribly killed by lizard-like aliens.
You've been watching too much Doctor Who, I reckon.
Well, it's worth thinking about. Thank you for your call.
It wouldn't happen in Midsummer Murders.
Who would you make love to? Which woman would you make love to if you had to? If you had to have a lesbian experience because it's required by lizard aliens called the Vendlis from the planet Zob. They land and they're just perverts. And they
Madonna, probably. She'd know what she was doing.
I'm there.
I think, yeah. What about you?
Madonna too.
No. Which man?
Madonna.
No.
I know more than you do. No, that was just a remark. Which man?
Yeah.
It's difficult. Right. I mentioned David Beckham, and I think he's... But yeah, possibly. Depends on what sort of... what sort of actual homosexual experience it is. It's a ludicrous thing to talk about, but on the other hand, quite enlightening, isn't it? And there's quite a few people listening going, this is an absolute disgrace, this is absolutely disgusting, but at the same time they're thinking to themselves,
Now.
Because everybody listening is thinking, who would I choose if you had to? And stranger things have happened at sea. Quite literally, probably.
Yes.
And now actually they're having a laugh and then wondering what that means. And now, Leo in Whitley has texted, I don't see why people find particular body parts amusing and erotic. It's so silly.
And then there was sort of party questions, like, it's 4 minutes until the world ends. How are you going to spend your time? And you and your partner both answer that question. And then you sort of discuss your answers and see whether you would have thought that is how your partner would have spent his time.
How would you spend your last 4 minutes, then?
It's a bit of a silly question, really, isn't it? But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spot.
I wouldn't really do much. I would hope that I was with people I cared about, friends and family, and I guess we'd sit there and wait. I mean, I don't know. But what would you do? I suppose.
Me, I would snap into action.
I'll save the world.
And I would try and stop whatever it was that was about to happen. Because, it might be you who's got the code.
It might be.
Or has got the final, who's got the solution. In Star Trek, they try the one last thing that might possibly work. No, I'm just saying.
Again, we're going back to how tonight you are really showing the difference between men and women. The world's about to end. What does Tommy Boyd do? He thinks, I think I've seen something similar to this in Star Trek. What does Sulu do?
I would reverse the polarity.
Oh, please.
Right? I would reverse the polarity of the generator.
Yeah.
That's the last possible thing we could try, but it might just work.
It might just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I would devote the 4 minutes to, because if you can help, it's important to make a difference.
Everyone should do their bit.
It's important to make and you're sitting there looking at the wall, right? And I'm rushing around with a spanner.
Well...
Who gets the vote? What do listeners want? Somebody who'll sit on their behind whilst the world is ending, or somebody who's actually giving it a shot?
But what if you reverse the polarity and it all goes wrong?
How wronger can it get than the end of the world?
But you don't know that it really is going to end, do you? How can you be really sure that it is going to end? It could just be a vicious
All right, then.
rumour.
In that case, I'll meet you halfway. Next time you have to sit this test, all right? Say that you will check the rules.
Yes.
To find out if it's true.
Yeah.
That'll be a big help. You hit on something quite interesting, because there's a German film just out about Hitler.
Yeah.
His last 12 days in the bunker. It's reported to be a very... effective film because it dares to show the human side of Hitler, as in, the man who was a vegetarian largely for sentimental reasons, capable of great acts of sentimentality, a lot of them.
I didn't know he was vegetarian.
Whilst at the same time contrasting this with terrible horrors that he was responsible for. But one of the interesting things is that the film looks at what drove him. And what drove him was that from the very earliest age that he kept records, he didn't think he was going to live much longer. And it's felt... This was researched by another Boyd, but no relation, William Boyd. He said that he thought that Hitler's enormous energy came about because he always thought he didn't have long to live. Of course, when he was in the bunker in 1945, he didn't. He said, I worked with somebody once who had a terrific pair of legs, and she really did wear extravagantly short skirts, and she would occasionally lean across a desk to sign some papers, and then it was, you know, it was an arresting sight. But if she caught anybody noticing, then she'd get quite offended. And she used to put up a pretty good argument as to why she could dress as she wanted, but men cannot look where they want. I can't remember what the actual substance of the argument was, but I accepted it, and she was right. So if I think I'm not going to be welcome looking somewhere, I don't look.
I do think there is a bit of a misconception that mainly men believe that women are simply dressing for them, in order to impress them, in order to attract them. I think it's much more likely to say that women tend to dress in order to impress other women.
On this subject, Jack Francis, has sent a terrific email, and I'm going to read it out because it's intelligent, perceptive, and it's not in any way salacious, and anybody who thinks that it is needs to stop and think again and think about the sheer logic of what he's saying in this email, all right? And I'm pleased he sent this in. I had not thought about this before, and he makes a lot of common sense. He says, we're talking about why men are allowed to show their nipples in public and women are not. And then he takes it a stage further. Listen to this. He says, I totally agree. The only difference between blokes and girls is the amount and shape of flesh surrounding the nipple. Of course, you could say, well, there's also the fact that female nipples are functional, but then that certainly shouldn't make them something that's unacceptable to be seen. He then says this. I understand why a man's private parts are banned, say from television. But why a woman's? Think about it. All it is from the front is a bit of hair in a triangular shape. What could be offensive about that? Now that is a very logical point, well made. I'd never thought about it like that before. I don't know what I think about what he's just said, but I do love the fact that he's come up with something original and thought-provoking, and thank you for that, Jack. That's one of the best emails I've ever been hit up with, because it's got me thinking. There's nothing there to see.
No.
Interesting, isn't it? Thank you for that, Jack. That was quite scintillating. Helen Crouch has emailed, Allison, you think the premises are haunted? News for you. The only ghoulies in the vicinity are Tommy Boyds. That's not funny, is it? It's old. Ronnie Barker did it, but thank you for that. Thank you.
I think it's funny. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed as well, I just thought I'd mention, I was on the Shrine, and there's a picture there of Bob Staunton.
Yeah. Have you imagine him with his top off?
Yeah, well, no, but he makes Wurzel Gummidge look like a toff, so he does.
He does.
Bob is a wreck, isn't he?
He is.
Isn't he a wreck?
The vets and put him down. He's a stinky old man by the looks of him.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I've got my fingers crossed. Thanks for your call.
Cheers, mate.
A nice man.
No.
I wouldn't go downstairs on your own.
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't go down there, would you? If I
wouldn't go down there.
50 quid to go down there.
I wouldn't go down
Would you not? You would not go down there for 50 quid?
50 quid I might.
I
can be bought.
Bob Staunton, you know.
Huh?
Bob Staunton trying to climb through your window.
I think it probably is. Bob is down there lurking by the gents.
I think, yeah, him and Tommy should have a head-to-head show one night.
Do you think?
And hammer it out, because it's getting too much. And I know he was frightening a lot of the listeners earlier on.
Yeah, I think he does. He wants a rap on the knuckles or something.
He's gone a bit too far this time, I think.
Well, that's in his competition as well. And I called him earlier on, and I was convinced I'd won. And he does this every week. He never gives the prizes away.
No, he gives nothing away.
I've sussed that over the last few weeks. He doesn't give any, even though you're right, and you can prove you're right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
I'll be writing to my MP tomorrow.
I know. He's
yeah,
tight as a budgie's eardrum.
Well, let's say, have a head-to-head one night.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, mate.
May the best man win.
Great to talk to you.
Okay, good man. Take care.
Take care, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good lad, isn't he?
Pray.
Marla Trowbridge has emailed from the United States. What you said about Enterprise being cancelled on your webpage was very upsetting. Why rub salt in the wound? Why, British git? I didn't know the Americans had the word git.
No.
No.
I thought it was a fairly British word.
It is, isn't
git.
it? I've got a tiny penis and a TVR Chimera. It doesn't bother me. And a pretty good torso as well. Tommy, give a man a fish. Oh, you don't.
Oh, no, no.
And if you don't know what we're referring to, then you're lucky.
You're lucky, yes.
You're very
Congratulations.
fortunate person. Will you please swap? Could we have your skin? Okay, well, that's just about time that there is all for.
Tell me what the rest of that email said about the fish. I don't really want to know, but I do.
Give a man a fish and he will feed his family for a day. Send a man on ready, steady cook with the fish and he will get 6 meals and a luxury hamper. Nice one, Brian. Thank you very much.
Very good.
And it's Doctor Who starting 9 o'clock next Saturday night
Yes.
with Tommy and Allison. Night-night.
Night-night.
Tommy Boyds and Allison Ferns on BBC Southern Counties Radio.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.